Concept Soup back with another video. This is a customer repair. Sadly, this RTX 3080 is no good. This is why you don't buy from Scalpers. So let's get into the video. It's a lo-fi video. I didn't really intend for this to be a YouTube video. I usually just record my repairs so that if anyone goes, "What you've been doing there?" I've got it all on video and I can go, "Well, that's why I did that, that's why I did that." But anyway, let's take a look. So we have a customer PC been brought in here, and this is why you don't buy from Scalpers. So we have here, this is Gigabyte Gaming OC 3080 10 gig. Machine wasn't posting, so probably the easiest thing to take out is the graphics card. Normally I'd start a bit more systematically, check all the connections and everything. However, because you mentioned you got it from a scalper, I thought it'd be the first thing I would check as a graphics card. So in the test bench, we have an RX 580. And as you can see, that is working, it's outputting a signal. So yeah, we've got a signal coming through. There we go. So we have isolated the graphics card as the problem. So let's quickly inspect the graphics card, and then we'll get back to the customer and see what they want to do. So, let's see if we can get the serial number on camera. That's the serial number. Don't have the check number because that comes on the box. Looks like it's in okay condition. Right, so that's interesting. On this PCIe power connector here, this won't come out very well on the video, but all the ones on this side here, all the pins are out as they should be. On this side, some of the pins are recessed into the unit. It's really hard to get a good video of this. But it's the two top middle and bottom middle left pins are recessed into the unit itself, which probably means that it's not getting enough power, which is likely to be causing our boot problems. So conclusion really is that I don't really know if this is caused by whoever sold it to him, because he said that this is his first time putting the computer together, so maybe he put the power connector in upside down and pushed the pins in when they shouldn't have done. Who knows, but that shouldn't really happen, so I'd be erring on the side of it being faulty before he got it, but I couldn't say for certain. So that said, can't say it's which way it's going to go here, who caused it, but we've already identified the problem. Some things I would probably change. I'm unsure why the hard drive cage here has been removed. There's no need to remove this. It's actually one of the best features of this case, is the hot swappable hard drive bays, really handy. These fans are completely pointless. You're going to be using a high performance 3-fan graphics card, no need for these extra cooling. All that's going to happen is it's going to pull all of the dust from inside this bottom chamber up in towards the middle of the case, which is no good. These fans will be much better suited in a push-pull configuration on this radiator here. Additionally, some of the cabling wasn't really very well thought through, which is fair enough for a novice builder. I would certainly tidy this up, have this going up and around the back, and then plugging it directly into the motherboard. But the rest of it is fairly well put together. Having the graphics card power connectors coming over the top, that's a personal preference, so I can't criticise that. But everything else seems to have been installed correctly. So yeah, there we have it. So I think this GPU is kind of busted. It's so hard to show you on the camera, but there's actually 4 power pins inside here that just look like they've been completely smushed into the graphics card. So I think that's probably what has happened, and therefore the graphics card is faulty. It's probably something that Gigabyte could fix very easily if you just opened up an RMA. But of course, without the invoice, you're not going to be able to get warranty through Gigabyte. So this is another reason why you don't buy from Scalpers, because you don't get the warranty. If he'd bought it from a reputable seller, then he'd have the invoice and he could RMA it to Gigabyte and they would fix it. But he's absolutely at the mercy of eBay's customer services now. So, I mean, there it is. We got the RX 580 in, which has booted Windows up. So, I mean, what else is there to say? Yeah, that's it. Right, so we don't leave our customers in the lurch. We never do that. We're going to offer them a way out. Luckily, we have this RTX 3080 in stock, the Holo Black edition. So yeah, there we have it. PC fixed, everything tidied up, looks a lot nicer. Let's pop off that glass panel and have a proper look. So definitely a lot nicer looking now. So we've got the Zotac Holo 3080, and then everything else is just tidied up a bit nicer. Definitely looks a lot cleaner now. Tied down the power cables there to keep them nice and crisp. Got our two fans mounted on the front, so we've got push-pull going on. Definitely a much more optimal system now. One thing I really hate about ASUS motherboards is their fan control utility. It's god awful. So I have actually had to install a program which I will be using again called Fan Control. I've got it on GitHub. It does take a minute to load up with Windows, but if I move the mic a bit closer, perhaps you can hear that ramp down there. So that's the application in Windows taking over, whereas before it was just like running at 60% speed all the time. When you've got high quality fans like Noctuas and that kind of thing, they're going to get really loud even if you run them at 60%. So there we go. And thus concludes the video. So let's sort of summarize. Let's summarize what we've got. So we had a PC come in with an RTX 3080 that didn't work. On the inspection, we also found that a lot of the components were in an unoptimal configuration. Suboptimal, I should say, is the proper word there, isn't it? So we moved things around, moved all the cabling around, made it a bit more neat, plugged things into the appropriate headers so that it looked a bit more neat. We inspected the graphics card, we put it in a test bench, did not boot with a test bench. I plugged an RX 580 into this customer PC. That booted just fine, so we could isolate the problem down to the graphics card. When I looked at the power connectors on the graphics card, some of the pins were destroyed. So we put the Zotac RTX 3080 in there instead as a replacement, and he paid significantly less than he did for the original card, which is good. And then we tidied everything up, got it all connected, and now it's looking nice and tidy. So there are some lessons to be learned here. The first lesson is going to be obvious. Don't buy from scalpers. Do not buy from scalpers. One, you feed the habit. People only scalp stuff because it's profitable. If you don't buy it, then it's not profitable. Two, do some research on the parts before you buy your computer. This customer absolutely did not need this super expensive motherboard. I don't know how much these ASUS ROG motherboards are. They're like £400. It's ridiculous. This is absolutely unnecessary. Honestly, I feel like if I optimized this spec and if he'd gone over with it, told me what he wanted first, I could have given him a much better spec. I reckon I could have got a 3090 in there for the same money just by optimizing some of the part choices. Completely overspent on some of the components. So motherboard is one. This AIO, the Alphacool Eisbaer, massively overpriced as well. Why would you buy that when you could get a Liquid Freezer 2 Arctic, which is going to be just as good pretty much, for like 75 quid. So that would have been a much, much better choice. That Arctic Liquid Freezer is awesome, by the way. Really good cooler. I wouldn't have bought Chromax fans because case fans, you don't need them to be super posh. I mean, it's nice, but you could have done it for half the price and had no appreciable difference in performance. Additionally, the power supply is a very, very nice power supply. Why? Why get a titanium power supply? It does not make any sense to get unless your computer is on 24/7. A platinum, even a platinum is a bit much, but then there are exceptions to that. But platinum and titanium, unless your computer is on 24/7 and doing a lot of heavy workload during that time, you don't need that. Get something a bit cheaper. Still good quality, but something a bit cheaper. Yeah, that's essentially it. And just have a think about what you're doing before you do it. So I don't know why he put those two fans on top of the PSU shroud. Doesn't make any sense to do that when you could put them in a push-pull on the radiator. So there you go. So it's interesting to see how other people do computers and where sometimes some experience on my part, actually sometimes I think it's obvious, but actually it's not, is it? It's just because I've got experience. So I'm glad we could sort this out for a customer. He seemed very happy. For instance, the graphics card, I was able to sell it to him for £875 versus the £1,100 that he paid for the scalped one that was broken. So it just goes to show that scalping is a tax on the impatient, and that's really the crux of it, isn't it? If you can wait, then you pay a good price for it. If you can't wait and you've got money to burn, then you pay a scalper. But yeah, it's a tax on the impatient. That's pretty much it, isn't it? Anyway, Concept Soup is done for this video. Give it a like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe. Tell everyone that Concept Soup's here and he's giving you tech in the morning. Bye.